Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real English Voices. I'm Tom.
And I'm Ria. And wow, Tom, we're really digging into a big topic today. I feel like this is the reason a lot of people started listening to us in the first place.
Absolutely, Ria. We're talking about the journey of learning English, not just the grammar rules, but the real experience. Why is it so crucial in 2025, and how can we genuinely make it less intimidating?
Intimidating is the perfect word. I remember starting my own journey. It felt like standing at the bottom of a huge mountain with a tiny map written in a language I didn't quite grasp yet. But the view from the top, it's spectacular.
And that's the hook, isn't it? Why climb the mountain? Why is English so important right now?
It's simple but profound. English is the global connector. Think about technology, Tom. Coding, documentation, the latest AI research, so much of it originates and is best understood in English. It's the language of innovation.
Definitely. Beyond tech, think about travel and global commerce. If you're dealing with international clients, applying for a scholarship abroad, or even just navigating an airport in a foreign country, English is the fallback language, the lingua franca that connects different cultures. It changes your whole professional and personal landscape.
It really does. It unlocks doors. I had a listener write in last week, Maria from Brazil. She said her English skills helped her secure a remote job with a European tech firm. Her salary more than doubled. That's a life-changing opportunity, simply because she mastered a language.
That's incredible. And Maria's story is fantastic, but we have to be real about the struggle. What are the common walls people hit? For me, when I was learning German, it was the sheer terror of actually speaking it.
Oh, the fear of making a mistake. It's universal, Tom. People know the grammar, they know the vocabulary, but the moment they have to open their mouth, they freeze. They worry about pronunciation, about word order, about sounding silly. It's an emotional block more than a cognitive one.
The inner critic is loud. And I think another big one is listening comprehension. We teach English in schools, often by focusing on reading and writing. But then real life hits you with someone speaking fast, using slang, and mumbling a little bit, and suddenly the vocabulary you learned seems useless.
Exactly. The speed of native speakers is a killer. And the linking sounds. English speakers don't say, did you go to? They say, did you go to? It sounds like one long word. Learners need to train their ears for that fluid, natural pace. They need exposure.
So let's get practical. How do we tackle that listening problem? You're a brilliant listener, Ria. What's your top tip?
My number one tip is passive listening combined with active listening. Passive is just having a podcast, a YouTube video, or a movie on in the background while you do chores. You're not trying to understand everything, you're just letting the music of the language wash over you. The rhythm, the stress patterns, your brain absorbs them subconsciously.
That's smart. Like putting a toddler in an English-speaking home. They're not trying to learn, they're just absorbing the sound.
Precisely. Then, for active listening, find short clips, maybe 2 minutes long. Listen once for the general idea. Listen a second time and try to write down key phrases. Listen a third time with the full transcript. That focused, repetitive attention is what breaks down the speed barrier.
I love that. Breaking it into small, manageable chunks. Now, let's pivot to speaking, the biggest fear. How do we move from knowing the language to using it?
You have to find your voice, literally. The best way to improve speaking is, surprisingly, not always with a native speaker at first. Find another English learner, maybe at your same level, and commit to speaking with them for 15 minutes a day. Why? Because the pressure is off. They're also struggling. You can laugh at your mistakes together. It builds confidence without the performance anxiety.
That's such a clever psychological hack. You're normalizing the mistakes. And on the topic of mistakes, we have to talk about funny blunders. They're inevitable, and honestly, they're the best way to learn.
Oh, absolutely. I've made so many. I remember once I wanted to tell a colleague that I was really excited about a new project, but I mixed it up with a similar word in my native language and accidentally told him I was overwhelmed by it. He gave me this look of deep pity, and I couldn't figure out why until I looked the word up later.
That's priceless. I've heard classics like people confusing beach and bitch. That's a vowel sound difference that can change a whole vacation story, right? I'm going to the beach suddenly becomes a very awkward statement.
The E in beach is long and beautiful, and the I in bitch is short and sharp. Mastering those slight vowel and consonant shifts is crucial. Don't be shy about recording yourself speaking. It sounds weird, but listening back lets you hear the gaps between what you think you're saying and what you actually are.
That's fantastic practical advice. Now, let's get into vocabulary. It often feels like an endless ocean. How does one systematically expand their word bank without just memorizing long lists?
Stop memorizing lists. It's the worst. Words need context and emotion to stick. My method is to learn words in families or chunks. Don't learn the word huge. Learn the phrase a huge effort, a huge challenge, or a huge breakthrough. When you learn it as a chunk, your brain connects the words that naturally go together.
Collocations, right?
Exactly. Collocations are the glue that makes you sound natural. Instead of saying, I do a mistake, you learn the chunk, I make a mistake. Another big one is to use a vocabulary notebook and organize it by topic, not alphabetically. So one section for business negotiations, one for describing emotions, and one for making complaints.
I love that. It makes the words immediately applicable. You're not learning a random word, you're learning a tool for a specific situation.
And here's a tip for the advanced learners. Start learning phrasal verbs. These are the bane of everyone's existence, but they are absolutely everywhere in natural conversation. Look up, take off, put up with. They make you sound fluent, but you have to learn them as individual, fixed units. Don't try to understand them literally.
That's so true. Look up has nothing to do with actually looking above your head if you're talking about finding information. It's a whole new meaning. It just requires patience. And patience leads us to motivation and mindset. This is where people quit, Ria.
It is because the learning curve isn't a straight line. It's a series of plateaus. You'll make rapid progress, then you'll feel stuck for months. That's normal. The key is to shift your mindset from I am learning English to I am a person who speaks English.
That subtle shift is powerful. It makes it part of your identity.
It does. And you have to embrace the journey as an adult. When you learn your first language as a child, you don't worry about proficiency tests. You just try to communicate your need for a cookie or a hug. Learners need to channel that inner child, the one who doesn't care about grammar rules, but just wants to be understood.
That's deep. You're talking about shedding the inhibitions we gain as adults. So how do we keep the momentum going when we're on one of those frustrating plateaus?
Set tiny, achievable goals. Stop saying, I want to be fluent in 6 months. Say, this week I will comment on 3 English language YouTube videos. Or, today I will send 3 texts in English to a friend. Small wins create positive feedback loops. The brain loves that little dopamine hit of success.
I think accountability is a huge factor too. Find a language partner, join a class, or even just tell your family, I'm dedicating 30 minutes every evening to English. Putting it out there makes you more likely to follow through.
Definitely. And please, please, dear listener, connect English to something you love. If you love cooking, watch English cooking shows and read recipes in English. If you love video games, change the game's language settings to English. If you love politics, read The Economist. Don't make English a chore you have to complete. Make it the key that unlocks your passions.
You've just hit on the most important thing. English isn't the goal, it's the vehicle. It's what gets you to the life you want, the career you want, the knowledge you want.
It absolutely is. And as we wrap up, I want to share one last thought that really helped me push through the difficult times. Every single native English speaker in the world has had the advantage of 20 or 30 years of total immersion. You are doing something incredibly difficult and brave by learning a whole new system of thought and communication as an adult. Be proud of every single word you know, every phrase you understand, and every conversation you manage to have.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Ria. Every mistake is just proof that you are trying. Every hesitant phrase is a sign of courage. English truly does change your life and opportunities. It changes the way you see the world, the media you consume, and the people you connect with. It expands your world from a local village to the entire globe.
So keep going. Embrace the awkwardness, laugh at the mistakes, find the words that express your true self. The world is waiting to hear your real English voice.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real English Voices. We hope these tips and stories inspire you to keep pushing forward. You are making amazing progress, even if you don't feel it every day.
We'll be back next time with more helpful insights into making your English journey a success. Bye for now.
See you all soon.